Join us as we go. This is the bit everyone's been waiting for, Donnie.
Break it down.
Righto, welcome back. Our mission is we have to make this thing a roller. How are we going to make the rails wider, Donnie? What's the secret trick that we're going to make up as we go? Just wing it, that's the story. So we've got, the first time we've cut the rail at the front and we've cut it at the back, and then we've pushed them out a fair bit. So we're at 880 wide now compared to I think about 815 standard. Now we've got to do a massive kick up in the back. That way you can get this thing sitting really low. Far out, Donnie, that's like a 350mm kick up in the back. It needs more, you reckon? Far out. If that doesn't fit your diff and your tyres in, I don't think anything's going to with these rails anyway. Oh, a couple of fish plates hiding inside the rail. That's going to be plenty strong enough. That's 5mm thick. Plenty of wouds on it. Plugged it from the outside as well. Now Donnie's getting all geared up, ready to put some boxing plates in. Right over the start of day 2, we've got all the boxing plates all tacked up. Time to attack this K-frame. We're going to get a couple of bars in there. We've got the owner dropping his motor off, which is going to be an LS1 with a 4R60. So we need something to be able to attach the gearbox to, so we'll get a couple of the lower K-frame bars in. All the kick-ups turned out really good. It's got about a 400mm kick-up in the back, so that'll give them plenty of room. The top of that chassis rail will end up really close to the top of the tub. But when you've got 32-inch wheels on the back, it's the only way to get that diff up high enough to keep the car sitting sort of level. Man, we're too fast around here, Donnie. We're already putting a motor in. Customer dropped the motor off. Now we've got to make some mounts. Make sure that the mounts don't hit the steering box. Good point, Donnie. Transmission cross member, it's sitting a lot higher than what it would in most sort of cars, but that's because the diff is right up as well. So we'll try and get that drive shaft angle as good as we can. We've got the engine mounts all made up. We've done the transmission cross member, and we're just in the process of doing a bit of a drive shaft hoop through this, so it's part of the K-frame. They all need to have one anyway, so we're going to make that a little bit stronger by doing that. Righto, update time. It's the afternoon now. We've got all the engine mounts welded up. We're starting to have a look at this front end. We've set that up roughly 7 degrees. And now we've got to fit these hairpins through the chassis rail. Now, just another thing to touch on when it comes to dead perches or panhard bars. This car is going to run a dead perch. My car runs a panhard bar. Some people run nothing apparently. I'm still a believer that you should have something up the front stopping that axle trying to go left or right. A lot of the hot rod guys out there don't seem to run anything on the front. Oh, we've got a steering box. On his back on old Tigaloo. It's stuff like this that gets really frustrating. It's something straight out of the packet that's already cross-threaded behind the nut. Hasn't even had a chance to get fitted to the car. We just weld a little crush tube into the side of the rail that's got a 1/2-inch bolt that runs through that. He's still got to decide what he's going to do with the shock mounts up front, but we can do that whenever. That's not a biggie. Old Sir Donnie's back on the TIG. And hopefully we'll get the steering box all in today. And then we're starting to look like a race car. Righto, this is how we've been mounting steering boxes lately. We just make up this little slug that goes in the rail. It's got a little machine bit at the end, so when it comes through the other side, it doesn't fall the whole way through, and it gets welded both sides. It's as simple as that. Just before we weld it, we'll just make sure everything pulls up nice and square. It's looking good to me. We'll get old Donnie the TIG welder on the job. We have our Australian rod and custom diff centre ready to fit in the back of this car. Now, the owner has another chassis, so from that we can come up with the dimensions he wants for the wheelbase to get the wheels sitting under that tub where he wants it to be. 68 years old, Donnie, and you're still a ninja, mate. Well done. Now see, that's what happens when you don't drink, boys. You'll stay nice and healthy and fit like Donnie.
This doesn't work, the pedal's on the floor.
Yeah, good point. How are you going to do that? Can you use your knee? That's how good you are. Not bad for a rookie. Rightio, some of you guys know I've been getting into this 3D printing. We're coming up with some clever stuff. You'll see what they're going to do pretty shortly. Righto, here's a bit more of a sneak preview. So we've got this part here, that slides. We've got this part, that goes in, and then obviously I can make them in different heights depending on what I need, and I can just keep stacking them, and then when I've got the right height, I slip the diff tube one in. And that'll keep everything square. It's a nice easy way, pretty cheap way too if you've got the time in the background just to have them printing away while you're doing other stuff. Now while we're at it, some of you guys watching for the first time might think we just play around with hot rods. We play around with all sorts of hot rods. We've got this little Celica 1400 horsepower 4-cylinder. Full street car, we do the drag and drive stuff. We've gone 760 at 185 mile an hour. 5 weeks time we're heading down a drag challenge. So make sure you subscribe, follow us along for that trip. It's going to be quite a fun one. We've got 4 boys in the car. We have quite a few beers, have a few laughs along the way, so hang around for that. Well, it's another week. Time to put this diff in this thing. So we've made up some 3D printed little slides for the diff, and we've made up these mounts that clamp over the axle tube that hold the lower bar bracket, which has the shock mount built into it. So easy way to try and keep everything square. You don't need 400 hands to be able to hold everything. The plastic bracket holding the lower mounting's quite bulky, but it does give us enough room for Donnie to get in there and put a few tacks on it. Best thing is it's got a nice big flat edge, so we're able to measure up off the chassis jig and make sure they are sitting perfectly square, and it makes the shocky mounting nice and even. Righto, something a bit different. We've had to do a bit of a change in the way we'd usually do the mounts on one of these. We've stuck with the triangulated 4-bar, but what we've done is mount the upper arms on top of the rail, which gives a bit more strength where we've done that kick up. And we've also made some little slugs that go through the chassis that are drilled and tapped on the inside. A 25mm bright bar that goes all the way through, and that is for the lower arms. A few more gussets in there, and now she's looking like a bought one. We held one side of the diff each, me and old Donnie, and we got rid of the black big stay things and made sure we can move that housing through all its travel. Obviously do that before we weld everything up. Righto, the rear cross member that the shocks have got to attach to. What we did was just machine up a couple of little spacer thingy mahoonies that are just stepped down slightly to go through the 65 by 35 by 3 RHS. You could use tube, we don't see it up the back, we just run a bit of box section, it's easy to do everything with. Now we'll get that in and see if we can connect it. We're starting to get somewhere. We're at the point where we can cut this thing off the jig now, and we can put it down on the ground. Get the body, cut a bit more of the floor out, I think is going to have to happen, so we can sit it on over top. But all that's worked nice. We'll box all that in after we've figured out where the fuel tank and everything's going. But it's starting to look like a hot rod. So after we've cut these tacks, it's good to see the chassis hasn't tried pulling in, which means that all that K-frame through the middle is sort of holding everything together. Time to lift her off. Let's see how we go here. Got to be a little bit careful because all the weight's at the front. We don't want it landing on the ground. When we were at C&W Components the other day, I seen the guys out there use jockey wheels on the back of their chassis. So brilliant idea. We used to use little caster wheels and we'd tack them to the chassis, then you'd have to try and cut them off. So thanks for the tip, mate. Well, I reckon we can call that a roller. That's close enough to me. We know if there's a couple of axles in there and a couple of proper rear tyres, we'd be able to push this thing anywhere. Righto, all you apprentices out there, make sure you never lift a car like this, especially if it's still connected to the chassis. I just better throw that disclaimer out there, Donnie, eh? You never know these days, these young whippersnippers, mate. Definitely going to be a bit of cutting through that floor. It was never made for the old 4out60. Just when we thought we were getting clever, design flaw number 1, the jockey wheels wouldn't allow us to get the chassis high enough actually, so the body's overhanging that far on these rails. This thing's going to be pretty low. What do you reckon, Donnie? It's starting to look like a car. So we've still got to come down 100 mil on the front and 120 at the back. So looking at what we have in the way of ground clearance, the way we're set up, this thing is going to be super low. Well, unfortunately, this floor isn't 4hour60 friendly, so we're going to have to get in there with a grinder, do a bit of hacking. We got enough room now, mate? Oh, look at that. 4hour60, we'll fit 2 of them in there. How lucky are we, Donnie? We get to play with steel instead of fiberglass. Does that make us true hot rodders now, Donnie? All those people at them hot rod shows that said we knew nothing about cars because they're always fiberglass, Donnie. This time there's no excuses. I'm going to start calling you Hot Rod Donnie.
Fiberglass is lighter though.
Fiberglass is way lighter than this. And if you get a little bit in your eye, you don't have to go to the doctor to get it pulled out. Righto, we're down 100 mil on the front. We're just getting hung up on the back slightly. So just the back of the roll of the body. So Donnie's going to get in there with his hammer. Hammer, crowbar, chisel, sledgy, whatever hot rod Donnie's got in his toolbox. And we'll see if we can get that back sitting down. Then all that RHS floor should be touching the top of our chassis rail. Plenty of room in there now for the old 4hour60. Oh, we opted for my favourite tool, the grinder. Donnie got in there, straightened her up a bit. Hot rod Donnie got in there and straightened it up a bit. What do you reckon, Precision Pete? Piece of automotive excellence this is. We're sitting all the way down on the back. Oh, another day, another $5, Hot Rod Donnie, what do you reckon? We're going to make some body mounts. We're going to put some bump stops in. We're going to put this brake pedal in that we run on the 27s, a Rod Tech pedal that we don't run a booster with, just to simplify everything. So we'll get cutting and see how we go today. Righto, so when you buy this brake pedal setup, it comes with that bit that you can weld through the chassis. It comes with this pedal with a nice bronze bush in it, and obviously a bolt to lock it in on the end. So a simple way, then from there we have to drill the hole at the ratio we want and then put the master cylinder in back here. Oh, Hot Rod Donnie's welded it all up. Good to see. He's going to have brakes soon. Righto, these brackets going on are for the body, so the owner's going to mount the body when that time comes, but that gives them somewhere pretty solid to do that. Oh, I hope that's where he wants his brake pedal, mate. So we've got old Hot Rod Donnie modifying the brake pedal, giving us a bit of a dog leg in it to get it over where we need it to go. What do we need, Donnie? About 45 mil?
45.
Let's see if we're in the ballpark. It's going to be pretty close. The next thing we have to look at are these shock mounts. So these shocks are too small for the style of mount the owner wants to run. So he's supplied us with some longer shocks. We'll bolt them on and see how it all is going to work. So as we can see, the old shock is way shorter than the new shock. Hopefully that puts that up high enough above the chassis rail that our new mounts are going to look and work really well. Yeah, far out, Hot Rod Donnie. I thought you had this under control. We're going to have to make a bigger hole in the floor, eh? Oh, you're kidding me, Donnie. We need more still. Oh, we're not very good at this, so. Second Hot Rod Donnie. Third time's a charm. Oh, so far so good. Are we on? Oh, we need more. We need more, mate. Sometimes it's the little jobs that you think that should be easy end up taking 4 goes. Not because we're rookies, Donnie, definitely not. But because it's just the way it is. Boy, Hot Rod Donnie, have you heard of the saying, mate? Measure twice, cut once. Look at that, mate. We're in. Oh, we're getting closer anyway. Oh mate, at temp 5, the pedal goes all the way to the fire. Well, that's exactly what we're chasing in the first place, Hot Rod Donny.
Yeah.
And that is the finished thing. So that's the pedal working, we're all go. Well, that was actually a bit more mucking around than we thought. We actually had to make the little threaded bosses protrude out the side of the rail. In my head I was thinking they were going to be flush, but then obviously you'd end up with a pretty, you don't have a flat surface there. So I think that's a good look. A lot nicer probably than just some of the weld-on ones we've used in the past. But just a little bit more expensive, but it is those little things. What do you reckon, mate? Is it going to do the trick?
Yeah, she's looking real good. Yeah, real good.
Well, I reckon that's all mocked up, eh? We're ready to weld this thing out and then get this diff measured up.
Yeah.
Righto, well that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for tuning in, watching us attack this project. We'll get it all welded up. Next week we'll get into some brake lines and some fuel tanks and a few other bits the owner wants us to do. So make sure you subscribe and we'll see you on the next one. Boy Bags, what do you got there, mate? Oh, Street Machine magazine.
We made it again.
Mate, we're in there again. We're getting good at this, eh?
City's even in there.
Oh, yeah. If Cindy's made it. Oh yeah, a couple other guys we know. Well done. What's the front cover there, Bags? Is it it? Oh, Street Machine magazine. That's where we're heading to shortly. Drag challenge. 4 weeks from now. Let's go.
Booyah!
Well, that was interesting.
Break it down.